Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm reading for Libra energy today and I'm reading ahead for the start of 2024, so the first few months. You, Libra, have seem to have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, and you'll see exactly what I mean as I kind of progress through the reading. I'm gonna grab my notes. So I've got quite a lot of songs for you. I'm going to try and amalgamate them into kind of clear messages. There definitely seems to be something going on with like childhood. I want to say it's your own childhood, like looking back at your own childhood, especially if you're a feminine energy. This could also be you and your own child, especially if you have a daughter. Or there's somebody around you who's experiencing this. So I'm going to read as though you are feminine energy. You're going to be the Empress in this reading because this is your card. It's right there in the middle of the reading. So yeah, I'm gonna say you as though you're the feminine, but if you're here and you don't identify as feminine or as Empress energy, and you feel like I'm talking about somebody in your life, again, this could be your own daughter or a feminine of some description, could be a mother as well. The Empress can indicate mother. Especially because you've got two Madonna songs as well. So Madonna is like the mother, right? So yeah, it could be that. Um if you identify as female, and you were a female child, there's definitely something coming through about looking back at your own childhood, looking back at your memories, and where you needed support and where you were kind of overparented, and different instances where you think, God, I could have really used some guidance in that moment, or gosh, like I really wish I'd had more independence there, especially like young childhood. So we're not talking kind of like older teenagers, we're talking kind of the immature years where you don't really know what's going on, you don't really understand the world a lot of the time. You just kind of going along with whatever is happening that day. A lot of the time I remember being kind of confused a lot of the time and just being like, oh, I'm here now. Yeah, there could be definitely experiences where you think, where that your understanding of a situation was not a mature understanding, for example. You could definitely feel like your innocence, whether this is as a child or this is a continual thing as an adult, you're being kind of taken advantage of. You definitely have some shifty people around you. That's coming through quite clearly. You seem to be rising above it. There's something about your inherent purity, especially if you've got Virgo in your chart or Aquarius in your chart. It's coming through as so for example, if you're Virgo Libra cusp, for example, I'm Libra, I've got Virgo rising. I'm saying this because you're getting this thing about like virginal energy. You've got the song Like a Virgin. I'll tell you your songs at this point. So 3 songs that I've kind of put together that came on kind of back to back. You've got Pure by the Lightning Seeds, Like a Virgin by Madonna, and Just a Girl by No Doubt. So yeah, this kind of Virgin Mary, Madonna, Like a Virgin energy coming through makes me think of Virgo. And then you've also got the star kind of knocking around in the underlying here, and that's kind of Aquarius energy. You also have the King of Air, so you could be dealing with an Aquarius. I'm not actually seeing Virgo reading too much in the cards. It's just coming through with the songs and the energy. So the star card, like I said, this is one of the first cards that I drew for you. The star card in the tarot is Aquarius, but it has kind of like a naked kind of virginal woman who's kind of pouring water, like the water bearer, right? So this can indicate Virgo and Aquarius. So it's really coming through as where perhaps you can still be a little bit naive, or, maybe a little bit inexperienced in certain things. And this could be anything. For example, I'm taking driving lessons and I'm like, gosh, I wish my dad had like made the effort to kind of like drag me into the car and be like, hey, come on, I'm teaching you to drive, when I was a teenager, but he didn't, right? So it's kind of like, and he was a decent dad. I'm not kind of, this isn't a sob story, but it's kind of like, oh, that's an area where I can see maybe I wish he'd have stepped up a little bit more and kind of like made me do those things a little bit, kind of, where he took the lead, almost like where he'd like took the driver's seat and teaching me to drive. That would have been a really useful thing for him to have done. Now I'm learning to drive, and I'm actually finding that I was lacking confidence originally. I didn't think I'd be able to do it. I was really quite scared that I was going to kind of bump into a lot of stuff. But, my confidence is growing, and I feel like I'm actually a fairly competent driver, considering. So it's that kind of thing where, it could even be like cooking, maybe, your parents always cooked, and so they never taught you how to cook, so now you don't know how to chop carrots, or how to get the timing right on recipes. So it could be anything, right? It could be literally anything. But again, you've got this sense of maybe you have a bit of especially again if you've got like a strong Virgo placement, you could have quite you could come across as quite sweet and quite innocent and quite naive. Even if you're not necessarily, you might have that presence about you. And people may wish to take advantage of that. Now, this could be in relationships. Perhaps you've had some really not great men in your life who've kind of taken advantage of your sweetness. Or it could also be, other situations where people have kind of seen an easy mark with you or thought they did. I'm kind of saying this because some of your songs. So yesterday, you had a couple of songs, one way or another they're covered by Pomplamoose, and she talks about a trick and a slip, and then you had something else where Battle Cry by Imagine Dragons. It's from the album. I think the album's called Smoke and Mirrors, which your other card is Mirrors. So I was getting this kind of like feeling of like a sleight of hand. It's funny because I've been talking about D&D, so it's kind of like that's something you can be proficient in, right? You can be proficient in sleight of hand. But I'm seeing this as like somebody around you, because it was really reinforced by the underlying. The first card that we had was Dream Thief, Refusal of the Call. And you've also got the Seven of Swords here as well, which does tell me there's some thievery, some skullduggery, some deception, some sneaky behavior around you. Could be in regards to a King of Pentacles. So again, it could be a father figure. It could be like husband, boss, some kind of work partnership, somebody who deals with money. So masculine energy tends to be somebody who kind of controls the finances. It could be something in regards to some kind of payout, because the Six of Pentacles underneath that, and both of these kind of could be a Taurus. King of Pentacles tends to be Taurus, and just because I'm seeing these two bulls, or someone with Taurus energy, like a Taurus Mars placement or something, it looks like maybe there's something about, if money's being shared out, maybe there's something about not getting an equal share. Yeah, definitely something a bit sneaky. The funny thing is, Libra, I feel like you're not as naive as people take you for. I feel like you're actually seeing something quite clearly, because in the tarot you're the Queen of Swords and you're an air sign. This means that normally Libras can be actually quite intelligent. You just maybe don't always let it show. And going back to that kind of like Just a Girl song, Libras are quite adaptive, and they're quite they tend to be quite good at being what people want them to be, and so you might if people treated you like a baby, if people treated you like a princess, you're going to act like a baby and act like a princess, because that's what people want from you. So it's kind of like a way of kind of twisting people around your little finger. You've learned that this works. Some of you, others of you, not so much. People might call it manipulative. I would say it's, again, it's a case of, I'm giving you what you want, right? This is what you expect from me, which Libra does that, right? Libra's this kind of pliable energy. It's just that kind of thing of like, life has taught you that you get better results with sugar and honey than vinegar. So if you need to turn on the charm to get your own way, or to make a situation easier, or just to get along with people, you might kind of you might dumb down a little bit, you know, you might kind of soften those sharper edges, because Libra energy can actually be very, very intelligent and very good at seeing, because you actually have eyes of the eagle rising above the fray here. So it's kind of like you're very good at actually seeing a situation for what it is, right? You know, it's like if someone's telling you, I've got two and I've got two, and here's five, you're like, there's something missing here, which actually is what starts your reading. So I'll show you this now. You've got this thing about the Eight of Water, the Eight of Cups, which normally talks about I'm not satisfied, so I need to go on an adventure to kind of like fulfill the thing that feels like it's missing. For you in this reading, it feels like you're actually counting something out and finding that something's missing. So for example, this could be like, you know that you had £100 in your purse or your wallet, and now you've got 90, and you're like, well, who's had access to my purse and wallet? Because I know that I counted that 3 times. I know that was accurate. So where is that £10 gone? You know, it's kind of like someone's trying to fleece you or pull the wool over your eyes, or they're hoping that you don't notice something. But I want to say you have noticed, right? It's kind of like you've really got your eye on it. However, this is followed by patience. So it feels like, and again, this could be your own child, right? So it's kind of like, you're coming through, Libra, with this really, really beautiful kind of empress energy of almost like que sera, sera, what will be, or I'll let the universe deal with that, or you know, I'll let that person generate their own karma and learn their own lessons. You know, I don't have to be the person who I don't have to be the person with that. I can just I can just let my guides deal with it, right? It's kind of like another reason why I'm saying this is because, oh, volcanoes underneath that, power and volcanoes. I feel like maybe you're not happy about it, but you're very calm on the surface, I want to say. It's kind of like a little bit like, you know, if people look at you, you're just kind of like this. You're kind of like, okay. But underneath, you could actually there could be some real rage under there. But again, maybe look at your Mars placement. It's almost this energy of, with you having mirrors, right? I think there's a lot of self-reflection and self-analysis going on, especially again when you've got assessing. So it feels like I'm assessing this situation, but I'm included in this assessment, right? It's kind of like, what role do I play? How do I achieve this? You know, how do I make this situation go the way I want it to go? You've also got like, yeah, one way or another. And what was the other song you had? You've got this feeling like you do want something, Libra. I want it all and I want it now. I want it all. Yeah. I've not heard that song for ages. It made me laugh when it came through. It kind of made me think of you know, the girl in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I want it all and I want it now. Kind of like stomping her foot. I don't care how, I want it now. I kind of meme that quite a lot. I have my little moments where I'm an only child, guys. I have my moments where I'm kind of like, but I'm the center of the universe and I want that Barbie doll. So yeah, again, like having that self-awareness of, you know, your own shadow, you know, the parts of yourself that maybe are a little bit more lower vibrational, but the self-awareness helps you to carry those parts of yourself in a high vibrational way. So it's not about being deceptive or hiding the fact that you know, that you get angry. You're entitled to get angry, right? I'm just a girl, fuck you, I'm a girl, right? So it's like, you know, like maybe people are shocked when you show anger, you know, so you've been taught to hide it. But I want to say there's this kind of, I want to say you're utilizing it. If that's you and you have this underlying anger, it's kind of like you're channeling it into a more useful way. Again, it's kind of like, I'm going to go for a jog, you know. I've got a patience card. It's Temperance, it's Sagittarius. It does talk about transmuting. So a lot of the time on the Temperance card, it's an angel. It's the Temperance angel. And they're pouring one cup into another cup. Sometimes it's fire and water, and they're transmuting it. So the patience card, being the temperance card, is kind of an alchemical meaning, where you're taking a situation, or you're taking a couple of different components of a situation, and you're kind of playing around with them and mixing them, and you're transmuting it into something new. So it's a very powerful energy. You actually feel like you're in your power at the moment, Libra, with things like patience, the star, the empress, the moon card as well, this kind of Cancerian energy coming in. You feel very, very like high vibrational feminine, right? The Madonna energy. So again, if you're masculine and you identify as male, this could be a woman in your life. It could be your own mother. It could be your partner, your wife. It could be a woman that you're interested in. It could be a colleague. And again, it could be your own child. You could have a Libra child who's kind of flourishing, and you're like, wow, wow, I didn't know, but she's but a girl and she's achieving all these things. Wow. I don't know. And again, this could be about, when I talk about masculine and feminine energy, I'm talking about energy, right? And not gender. So when I talk about things like the Empress energy or the Temperance Angel, which the Temperance Angel is kind of non-binary. Like, I don't know the gender of the Temperance Angel. Maybe angels don't have gender. Maybe they're like Barbie dolls, right? I don't know. Yeah, like I'm just talking about you being in a very, if you identify as male and this is you, it's like you're just being very patient, very nurturing, very calm, having a lot of self-awareness, and, rather than kind of getting angry and punching a wall, you're kind of going, how can I turn this into something healthier? Maybe I'm going to channel this into a new project, or, making a difference in this situation. I'm going to use my anger in a healthy way, an expressive way, rather than like, what I'm trying to say, Libra, is I don't think you're bottling something up. I feel like you're well aware of a situation where somebody is trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or somebody is trying to, it's like they're trying to trick you, this kind of sleight of hand energy. I want to say that you absolutely see it, because these two cards were like this on the underline of the deck with assessment. You see it's got like this telescope. It's like you see, unless it's because this looks kind of like a lens. It's almost like, is the monkey on your lens, right? It's like you can't see it because you're too close to it. Could be a relationship where you're too close to the person to see the deception. But underneath that as well, like I say, you just feel like you're letting karma play out. We're in Capricorn season right now. Happy birthday, Capricorns. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. Saturn's the planet of karma. What you put out there comes back at you, right? It comes around and bites you on the ass. And as I'm saying that, the next card after the Eight of Water, this feeling of like, something's missing here. I've counted my treasures, right? It's like, I've counted my treasures, and, there's some pearls missing. There's a crown missing. Where has it gone? It's like, instead of, what I'm seeing is like, with the Eight of Cups being, normally it's like you're going on an adventure to find what's missing. It feels like you're waiting for it to come back to you, because it's like what goes around comes around, right? So it's kind of like, what's meant for me will never be denied for me, or yeah, if it's meant for me, if it's like my destiny to have this thing, then spirit will find a way to return it to me. I don't have to really do anything other than what I'm guided to do. Maybe spirit's like, hey, put up a missing dog poster or whatever it is. But then the next card is completion. And now you can see she's got this clock on her, right? It's kind of like time. It's like time will tell. Everything comes out in the wash. I don't know why it's coming through with all these kind of idioms. But yeah, it's like things come back to bite you on the ass. So if somebody's acting badly, if someone's being a thief, or they're being sneaky, it's kind of like they're going to catch themselves out in a lie. I was talking about that in someone else's reading. It's kind of like you being the Queen of Swords or the King of Swords. This could be you here as well. The King and Queen of Swords, and you're represented by like the Justice card, Libra, the Empress card, the Justice card, the Queen of Swords. These are all very, very honest and very authentic energies in the tarot. And so um have you ever done that thing where you've told a little lie and then, you know, it turns into a bigger lie and it kind of snowballs, and then it's kind of like you can't keep track of all the lies you've told? Yeah, me neither. I'm a Libra. I've got a ton of Libra in my chart. I don't do that. I've got a Gemini moon. Maybe I'll let people think what they want to think, but I don't tend to tell outright lies. I'm terrible at lying. I can't do it. You know, and kind of, I'm too honest. I've got Sagittarius Mars as well. It's just like brutally honest. It's like, say what you think. So, like foot in mouth kind of thing. So, I have this joke with one of my friends in work where it's like, if something is a secret, if this is something that I'm not meant to talk about publicly, you have to explicitly tell me not to do it, because I will not understand, right? I will, if you don't tell me that I can't talk about something, it's just going to come out. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's a difference between lying and omitting things, right? Omitting things, like my Gemini moon's like, just don't tell him, just don't say that thing. My Sagittarius Mars is like, too late, I've already said it, no thoughts slide right off. My Libra Mercury placement is like, could you please be more tactful? This is why it's important to know your full chart, guys. Okay, so anyway, like I say, you having a full understanding there, you know, what you put out there comes back to you. You don't have to go looking for it, right? It's like if your guides, if your spirit guides want you to have it, they'll return it to you. And also this idea that, you know, what goes around comes around. You know, what you put out there comes back to bite you on the ass. So you're chill. It's kind of like, you're good, right? You no karma here, only good karma here. I don't have anything to worry about. Is how that feels for you. Okay, at this point in the reading, I'm just gonna have a really quick break, I think. Actually, let me just go back to my notes before we kind of carry on with what's on the cards, just in case I missed anything. So the star and the mirrors, like I say, there's this thing about self-reflection. Your star energy, right? What you think of as successful, you know, what you hope for in the future, you know, what you envision for yourself. And I feel like you're embodying the star energy. I kind of felt like in meditation, I was kind of tingling with this kind of sparkly star energy. It's like it was engulfing me. And I had this feeling with the star and the mirrors. So in meditation, kind of like meditating on this, I had this feeling of kind of almost being in front of a portal to the stars, right, to the night sky. Like I was in front, I guess it was a mirror. Or was it like a window? It felt like it was a window, and like through it was this big bright star, right? And so I was meditating kind of in this starlight, but then I was aware that, you know, I was on this kind of it's like an icy polished floor, and so the starlight was actually reflecting on the shiny floor, this shiny kind of frozen surface underneath me, but like kind of behind it and underneath me. And so imagine the portal here, star, we're sat here, and then behind us on the floor is the reflection of the star. So it's almost like the starlight was passing through me. It's like, shouldn't I block the starlight from coming through? But no, it was behind me. So there's this interesting thing about kind of like the starlight penetrating through me, which was kind of strange to me. And then I kind of continued to meditate on this, and eventually I had this feeling of like a mirror turning on its side. It kind of came through with this, almost like being in the glass of the mirror, right? Like if the mirror turned on its side, like the light shining right through, because I'm neither before the mirror or behind the mirror. I am in the surface of the mirror, right? I'm in the glass of the mirror. So that, how does that work? Starman, come on, I need the physics of this. It's kind of like you were the prism that the starlight was shining through. So you weren't, it's like you weren't reflecting anything, but neither were you blocking the light from coming through. So this could be talking about the clarity of Libra, right? Of the starlight being able to pass through you without any kind of blockages. I don't know, but this idea of kind of like the mirror turning on its side, I want to say is here with this rising above the fray. It was almost like taking yourself out of a situation or going a different way, or seeing almost like Aquarian energy where it's like I'm seeing things from a very different perspective. I'm understanding a situation very differently from kind of the crowd. So yeah, it's almost like you were like sidestepping a situation or opting out of some experience, but in a way where you were not seen, right? You were doing something very unseen. I think because you're doing something very differently. Yeah, it felt like very elegantly sidestepping the fray is the note that I've made. Also, this was kind of giving me Little Star, you know, the song by Kelis. There's nothing special about me. I'm going to just say the words instead of trying to sing it. There's nothing special about me. I'm a little star. If it seems like I'm shining, it's probably a reflection of something you already are. But you're not reflecting something. It's like you are... it feels really special but really strange. I'm kind of trying hard to explain what I'm getting with that. So with that, I've made the note about confidence in your own capabilities. And again, the idea of kind of parents perhaps placing too high expectations on you or too low expectations, or a mix of both that could have been really confusing. It's like they had high expectations in one area and then low expectations of another. So it's kind of like we expect you to get all A's, but then they're like, oh, she's just a girl, she's stupid. You know, it's kind of like conflicting messages. It's like, what do you want from me? So again, it could just be talking about... you know, the expectation that people have on little girls to be sweet and innocent and pure, but also to kind of know enough about the world to not be taken advantage of. It's like, I can't be both. Which kind of makes me glad that the Panther's here on this card. So again, this is another way that the cards are telling me that, like, if there's deception going on, I want to say that you're well aware of it, because it's like you see, and again, it's like you don't have to have a lived experience to know that there's danger out there, right? You can read a book, or you can watch a movie, or watch the news, or, you know, listen to the experiences of friends and learn that, you know, perhaps the world isn't a Disney movie, right? It's not, well, Disney movies can be a bit rough, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows and lollipops. If like friendship is magic, you know, people do take advantage of you. People are arseholes sometimes because they've got their own shit that they're dealing with. So it's potty mouth today, guys. So it's like the Panther talks to me about your own shadow, and by your own shadow I mean your own stuff that you're dealing with, right? Your own coding and blueprints that you've kind of come into this life with, where, you know, perhaps you've had experiences that have kind of jaded you, or damaged you, or damaged your confidence in some sort of way, and then the Panther is about learning from those experiences, being able to recognize the warning signs, recognize the red flags, because that energy is kind of part of you now. It's like, rather than being entirely innocent and having no idea about kind of the dark things in the world, the Panther has been touched by the darkness and therefore is able to not embody it and kind of like do, you know, carry out those bad behaviors themselves, but they're able to recognize it in others because they've been touched by that darkness. They can see that darkness in others. And so, yeah, the Panther is a protective symbol for me. They can see the deception, right? Because they know how to deceive. They know how the deception's done. It's kind of like a magic trick, right? Imagine you learn a magic trick and then someone tried to use that magic trick on you. You'd be like, I know exactly how that trick's done. Let me explain point A, point B, point C, how you did that trick, right? It's like they can't trick you because you're there like detailing what they did. So and again, that talks about the truth, right? When you speak the truth, it resonates. You know, the truth is, it carries a weight to it because it's logic, it's reasoning, right? It's the justice card, it's the law courts, they're telling me it's weight in gold, which is very interesting to me as well, because the first card, so obviously I I shuffled like 10 decks here. Whatever cards came out, I put them all back together and kind of reshuffled, and this gives me the order of the reading. The first card that came out when I kind of reshuffled to get the cards out on the table in order actually flew off the table with quite a lot of force. You know, really, when something comes off my table, my guides tell me that they want me to talk about it, but it's not part of the reading. It's almost, you know, saying to me, it's not that, right? That is not included, but we want you to highlight the fact that that's not included. So the first card with quite a lot of force onto the floor was the curse card. It's like, we'll have none of that. So, and then I felt myself being patted on the back. So I want to say, if anyone's trying to curse you, which like it always comes through as funny to my guides, because when you understand, you know, the laws of what you put out there, it comes back at you. If somebody's trying to put like a bad curse on you, is gonna bite that person back in the ass, right? Because what you put out there comes back at you. So it's a really stupid thing to do. It's actually a really naive thing to do. So Libra, I want to say, if you feel like people have been trying to curse you, your guides are 100% protecting you, and you're just kind of riding it out. You're just kind of like, you know, maybe angry, because it's not a nice thing to do, and you have the right to be angry. But at the same time, you're kind of letting your guides deal with it. You're like, angels, ancestors, spirit guides, can you protect me from that? The nice thing as well is that what you can do is you can visualize something around you that is like a shield, like a protective bubble around you, but make it mirrored on the outside, and if anything comes at you, it's gonna bounce back, isn't it? So yeah. I don't know, just someone's messing with the, so I'm hearing someone's messing with the monster, but it's kind of like, not monster as in a derogatory way, it's kind of like, you've bossed this, you know, you're the master. Like, yeah, someone's messing with an empress, and it's not going to go well for them. So it's kind of funny. It's like, okay, you carry on with your own bad karma, I'm just going to mind my own business and keep vibing high. And we'll see who ends up better for it in the long run, right? So I don't know. It's funny. Okay. Trust your instincts, Libra, as well. With this moon energy, I'm getting a message that you've got really, really good instincts. Okay, I'm going to stop. I am going to have a quick drink of water, and we'll pull some cards on camera, and then we'll kind of get deeper into the spread. Okie dokie. Oh, my other phone's going back there. Got a message. Maybe somebody's getting a message. I don't know. We do have the messenger of water coming up. I'm going to get you some Scrabble letters on camera. These could be your initials. They could be the initials of someone you're dealing with. It could kind of spell out a word or be an acronym. Whatever you want to take from it, take from it. If it's your reading, this should make some sort of sense. And even if it doesn't make immediate sense, if you just kind of like make a mental note of those letters, something could play out, and you might be like, ah, oh, that's what that was. I'm hearing 4, so we'll get 4 letters. Maybe you're going to receive 4 letters. R. Somebody could be called Roberts. I was thinking about my childhood friend Rob the other day. It was actually an Aries' reading, and I forgot to mention. RP. Received pronunciation. I have an RP accent. I don't. I wish I did. It's kind of fabulous. The more angry I am, the more posh I get. Like, if I'm telling someone off, I go very RP. RPR. So it could be something about PR. Now I'm thinking of... there's a scene in Absolutely Fabulous with Patsy. And she has that RP accent. She's got Joanna Lumley, beautiful accent. And she's like, PR person. Oh, it's making me think of that. Maybe you work in PR. Oh, and a blank space. Now I'm getting pro. I don't know. Make it that what you will. Doesn't have to make sense now, but just kind of make a note of those letters. The blank one's interesting. Again, it's kind of like, you know how I was saying, it's like, it's okay to kind of omit things. You don't have to tell everybody everything. You know, when you speak the truth. But nobody, you don't have to tell anyone anything, right? Your business is your business. You don't have to explain yourself. Unless maybe it's like a courts situation. But even then, you know, even if you were kind of like, you know, being read your rights, you have the right to remain silent, right? Anything you say can and will be used against you. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay. 3. I think we're getting 3. Oh, suddenly, patience. See, just be patient. Wait it out, Libra. Wait it out. See what happens. Whatever this is. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. Patience at right. Okay, that's why they were saying 4. Right. I was kind of getting like 3 or 4, and I was like, "How many do you want?" It was like 3, 4. Get one more. Patience at. Patience at what? Sorry, I want you to see that I don't know what I'm getting here. Patience at woman. I guess you're being patient with a woman. Suddenly patient. How funny. It might be like the surprise of switching it up. You know, like when you're impatient, when you've been impatient for a while, and you're suddenly like, yeah, in your own time. Like people can be like, what? Huh? I find as well, like, so my son can be quite stubborn. He's got a lot of Aries, and he's all Aries and Pisces, both quite stubborn signs. You know, the more you rush him, the more he doubles down and digs his heels in. So, for example, kind of, if we're trying to kind of get him to school or trying to get him off his computer, if his dad's impatient, you know, he can be very like, time's up right now, bedtime right now. And, you know, it just turns into a battle of wills, basically, where my technique is to go, all right, I want your computer game off in the next 30 minutes. And can I trust you to do that? And then kind of like when he's got about 10 minutes left, I'll be like, right, 10 minutes left, you know, I'm trusting you to turn it off. And he might go a little bit over, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but he'll turn it off of his own accord and he'll come up, you know, to bed. So, yeah, like, sometimes being a little bit patient and kind of letting people feel like they're making their own decisions can actually get better results than being very impatient and demanding things. You know, I want never gets kind of thing, which is a lesson for me because I'm very kind of like, I want it now. I'm excited. It's not coming from when it's with me, when I'm kind of like, I want it, give it me now. It doesn't come from a place of entitlement or you know, greed or anything like that. With me, again, with that Sagittarian Mars placement, it's excitement, right? It's like, I can't wait. You're like a kid at Christmas. It's like, can I just have my present now? Oh my God, I'm just so excited. I can't wait. I'm going to pee. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I don't know. I think maybe somebody's misreading your energy a little bit, Libra. You know, someone's misconstruing, especially if you are like, look, the Empress, beauty, the moon, patience. Like if you're sat there, maybe it's jealousy. If you're just kind of sat there and, you know, blessings are coming to you. It's like people like love you. People want to be your friend. Everybody's got nice things to say about you. You're vibing really high. You know, you seem to have not a care in the world. And you do have cares in the world. You just carry it gracefully. They show me a swan, right? It's kind of like you don't see how fast a swan is swimming under the surface, but they kind of glide across the lake. So you've got this kind of elegance to you, and people think, oh, they've got it easy. Not necessarily, but I think maybe you've triggered some kind of jealousy or again, probably other people projecting onto you. If they're seeing you as being kind of entitled, it's probably because they're not getting what you're getting, right? And they're jealous of it. And again, you don't get valued by throwing a temper tantrum, you know? So say, for example, this is like a work thing. Say, you know, you're getting a lot of bonuses, you know, a lot of the kind of more desirable projects are coming your way. You know, you're getting a lot of the kind of perks coming your way. It could be because you do handle yourself quite gracefully. Maybe you are good PR, right? And so the people who are kind of like, when's it my turn? Like, you know, and like maybe even being nasty towards the people who are getting kind of the, you know, kind of being like, oh, I can't believe you gave the project to her. You know, it's kind of like they're not carrying themselves well. You know, they're not making themselves look good if they're kind of going to be low vibrational and bitchy and backstabby. So, you know, things aren't going to go their way. It's that kind of thing. So, oh, hello. Rose Garden. Someone else had Rose Garden. I feel like it was Virgo. And Stranded in the Rose Garden. Flower Spirit. Oh, look. It's funny that you've got this beauty card here as well, which looks like kind of plants and things like that. So we'll save those cards for when we get to that point in the reading, because I think there's something coming through with that we can talk about. Kind of feel like chasing something pretty and getting yourself stuck and needing rescuing, which can be the case, right? One thing I wanted to talk about, again, talking about kind of, you know, the idea of like expectations of being a girl or expectations of being a woman. It's kind of like you've got to be Wonder Woman, right? You kind of feel like you've got to be good at your job, you've got to have a career, you've got to, you know, keep a clean house, you've got to raise your kids, you've got, you know, there's so many demands of that modern life make of women. But it's like at the same time, it's like you've got to be a Madonna in the streets and, you know, a spicy between the sheets. You know, it's kind of like, what do you want from me? Kind of thing. Do you want an angel or a devil? Like, I can't. Well, to be fair, everybody's a little bit of both, right? So kind of these unrealistic expectations people have of women. And again, if you're not a woman, just, you know, do that little mirror check. You know, are you expecting things in a fair way? You know, if this was a guy, would you expect the same things? You know, you can't. I think maybe there is something about, again, like the idea of like a woman who seems quite childlike. So an example that she's flashed up a few times, and I was kind of reluctant to say because it wasn't exactly what I was trying to say. So Salma Hayek, I believe, is a Virgo. I think she's got Libra in a chart, or she's like Virgo Libra cusp. But they keep showing me her. Now, she is so sexy, right? She's sexy like a woman is sexy. She's got this gorgeous, I know you shouldn't comment on women's bodies, but I think she's so attractive and kind of, she's kind of an example of a very idealized woman in my mind. You know, she has this very feminine, curvy body. She's stunning. She carries herself with such an air. She's got like the air of a goddess. You know, she's absolutely stunning. Beautiful accent, talking about accents. And I just think she's absolutely gorgeous. I'm kind of in love with her. And at the same time, you know, if you watch her in interviews, she has this naivety about her where, you know, it's almost like she doesn't know how sexy she knows, you know, she does know, but she has this air about her where she kind of like, she's shocked about these things. And I think that's kind of the Virgo coming through. And so she has this interesting mix. And like Marilyn Monroe is another example, you know, somebody who's childlike but incredibly sexy. So there could be something about you or, you know, somebody around you where it's like there's this interesting mix of angel and devil. There's a song trying to come through. It's like an angel and a devil of my own device. I can't quite pull in the song. What else do we have for Libra, please? Your reading's a little bit less D&D, a little bit less fantasy than all the others have been so far this week. Maybe you're the fantasy. 'Cause when I walk by every night, talking sweet and looking fly, I get kind of hectic. What is going on? I don't think we're getting a Dungeons and Dragons card for you. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to try and focus. Is there anything you want to say to Libra from this deck? 1... I'm going to do it 3 times. 2, 3. Now, they don't want nothing for you from that deck. 7 of Charisma. That is, I think, the 7 of Swords. I guess not. I guess not. Is there anything, any action that Libra should take? So this is kind of like the Dungeons and Dragons spell cards. I'm just using them like an oracle deck at the moment. On the other... Oh my god, unbelievable. I wish I hadn't removed it because I kind of drew back there. I wish I hadn't removed it from the camera. That is genuinely, and I can't do card tricks. I can do one card trick, but it's like a really novice, obvious one. I can't do like you know, kind of like casino style card tricks though. There's nothing up my sleeves. There's nothing in my lap. Like I'm very genuine with my readings. What's here is what's come through. Silence. For the duration, no sound can be created or pass through a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose within range. Any creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage. You've got thunder here. And creatures are deafened while entirely inside it. Casting a spell that includes... So they can't hear while inside the sphere. So it's like soundproofing. It's funny because I was talking about a sphere, right? It's like make the sphere but make it mirrored on the outside to protect what's inside. And isn't that what I said? It's like you're stepping out of the... Because you've got rising above the fray and thunder. It was like, it almost felt like sidestepping to me, or, you know, kind of like jumping up on a branch while this energy runs through. Sort of like, you know, Black Friday deals. You know, people go crazy. People line up outside of shops for these deals. And most of the time the deals aren't like good. You know, like if you, it's kind of like with that intelligence, with that eye for detail, if you're paying attention, you know, you can see that, you know, the prices of things go up and down, and, you know, this might be a low price, but, you know, if I shop at this time of the year, then I'm going to get that low price without having to queue for it. Or like, you know, maybe even doing the calculation of kind of like, okay, people are queuing for 3 days for tickets for that concert so they can get it at a cheaper price. If I just work one extra shift, I can buy the ticket at the more expensive price and have 2 days free. It's kind of like false economy. It's kind of like the math doesn't check out, right? So it's kind of like you're sidestepping some kind of rush, because it's almost like it's designed to be appealing to kind of like the general demographic, but it's not. You're kind of like not. I don't know if you've kind of seen the deception or seen where what's coming through for you here is this idea of kind of like the revelation of kind of going a different way. It's kind of like you can go your own way. So I'll come to that in a minute. Let's see what this spell card is. Dimension door. Exactly. It's like you're open. That's what I said. It's like you're doing this weird sidestep where you're kind of like forging your own path, or, you know, seeing something from a different angle. Like it's kind of like you're opening a portal. So dimension door. You teleport yourself from your current location to any other spot within range. You will arrive at exactly the spot desired. So obviously we can't do this in real life, right? But it's kind of like, as a metaphor, you're doing something where it's kind of like you're taking a shortcut, or you're because you're going in a different direction, or because you're doing something differently or in an unexpected way, right? It's like it's like everybody else rushes through the doors, but you hang back. It's like you take your time to do it, where everybody else is kind of like, you know, scrambling over each other for something. It's like everybody making a rush for one door, but you're kind of like, well, hang on, if I'll just kind of wait for a second for the place to clear out, I can kind of look around and, oh, there's another door there, I'll go through that door. Like, why didn't anyone else take that door? Because everybody followed the crowd, right? You're getting that it's like a book. I think it was by Thomas Hardy. And it's like a film and TV and stuff. It's Far from the Maddening Crowd. Now, I'd never read it myself, but I kind of looked up the synopsis of it because I didn't really know anything about it. But basically, it's about this woman she's called like Bethesda or something. Maybe it's something about the game company, Bethesda. Bathilda, something like that. I can't remember. Bathsheba, I think her name is. And she's kind of got these 3 admirers who all want to marry her, but she's very independent and kind of like avoiding kind of getting tied down. And she kind of, you know, it's a book, so things work out, things don't work out. But like I say, it's kind of like she does things a little bit differently. Okay, you can bring along objects as long as their weight doesn't exceed what you can carry. You can also bring one willing creature of your size or smaller who's carrying gear up to its carrying capacity. if you would arrive at a place already occupied by an object or creature, you and any creature travel. So it basically feels like a similar thing of going in a different direction or sidestepping something or having the ability to forge a new path or see pathways where other people don't see pathways. Okay, let me show you this. So the next card is like time to replenish. So there's something about, it's next to, oh, so like I said, the curse card flew off the table, so it's like curses no. So I'm just going to kind of turn that around. We don't want that. So it's like, you know, something's been wasted. It's almost like looking to me like flushed down a drain or like thrown away, thrown into, perhaps you've thrown something into, you know, like sometimes when people throw an engagement ring into water, you know, stuff like that. It's kind of this feeling of like, it'll come back to me if it's meant for me. I mean, don't do that. That's the kind of risky gamble, guys. But there is something about kind of like, maybe your resources feel like they need to be replenished. So maybe you've overdone it at Christmas, right? Your cupboards are getting a bit bare. It's this feeling of like, right, it's time to stop doing one thing and start doing another thing or go in a different path. So this is looking to me almost like a spiral staircase or like a wishing well or, again, just this idea of seeing something from a different angle, like here, right? It's kind of like he's kind of got his eye, because again, you've got this kind of like eyeglass energy, this telescope energy. It's like having your eye up to the glass and being able to see what's inside, right? It's like you can see where something is a wasted effort, or you're seeing where something is kind of like going down the drain in some sort of way. So it could be something to do with finances, right? It's kind of like, you know, sometimes like, you know, people say like you've got to spend money to make money, but it's not quite that. It's like, again, it's like time management or a false economy. It's sort of like, okay, maybe I could go for that 2-for-1 deal, but if I actually, have you ever done this? Like Sainsbury's supermarket, I'm calling you out right now. They're so bad for it. You know, you can get like, it'll be like, buy 2 for £3. But if you actually calculate kind of how much you get, you could buy like, say it's like, buy 250-gram packs for £3, but you could buy like the 500-gram pack for £2.75. And so it makes it look like you're getting a deal when you're not actually getting a deal. So it's almost sometimes better to just buy what you need rather than to kind of like buy stuff you don't need just because it's on offer. Something like that. Again, it's kind of like there's a rush for something where you're saying, actually, do you know what? I think I might be better off if I turn the tables a bit here, because it's looking to me like this is the table turning, right? So it's almost like you're looking down through this thing, down through the center of it, and then kind of like if you take a step back and you turn this thing on its side, it's like it looks very different. Do you see what I mean? It's kind of like the top-down view or the side-on view. So it's kind of like when you turn, it's almost like a map, right? It's almost like having a 2D map, but it's a 3D map. So if you turn it on its side, it looks very different and a new path opens up. So unmarked trail and revelation. Again, I feel like you're doing something that the rest of the crowd is not doing, right? This is the unmarked trail and it's a revelation. So this is an entirely new way of doing something. And with the moon as well, it's kind of like there's something about understanding cycles or understanding phases. So again, especially with completion, it's kind of like what goes around comes around. So okay, if I miss that deal, it's going to come back around anyway. Or okay, so it's something like, you know, you've experienced enough sales that you know that they have these sales before. Like I used to work in retail, right? So it's kind of like you want to try and clear as much stock before Christmas because that's when people are buying things. You know, January and February can be slower, but you get the bargain hunters out in January and February. So it's kind of like, say this was like technology. Say you wanted to buy a new TV and you're like, oh, I should get in quick while the sales are on. But what tends to happen is the following year, say around kind of April time, you know, say you're buying something from, like from Argos, right? The stock changes. They have like the new catalog. And so you get like, you know, that TV that you wanted to buy that kind of went on sale, and you thought that's a really good deal, I really want to buy that. It's like by the time April comes around, March, April, and the new catalogue comes out, it's like they have better TVs in it because technology moves on. So it's kind of like, and then the TV that you wanted to buy is no longer like the best TV. So that's now reduced in price because they're trying to flog these newer TVs. So it's kind of like, well, I know the price of that thing is going to go down eventually, or I can buy one second hand because then everybody's going to buy these other new things. So it's like, it's something like that. It's like something about understanding the ebb and flow of something, or understanding how marketing works, or something like that. And then with the messenger of water here, there is some kind of offer being made. There is some kind of suggestion. It comes from the heart. It comes from a good place. Something is being spoken, and it's very, I want to say it's very, very intuitive. It's something kind of to do with people or social situations. And then this is followed by like creation here. So I think you're creating something new. It's like you're bringing something down from above, down to earth with this earth card here in your Empress energy, right? It's like really standing very, very strong here. It's like planting something, like nurturing something, wanting something to grow. This new creation of yours. Beaver moon, it feels like it could be work, right? It's like you're putting work into something. You've also got activation here, which has been hanging around for a few different people, and that's with renewal, yeah, and transformation. Yeah, something, I feel like there's some kind of ending coming up, but it's not an ending. It actually is a transformation, because you're understanding some kind of cycle. So you're understanding how you know, things work in phases with the moon here, and you've actually got cycles here. So it's kind of almost like preparing for the future, preparing for the new phase, because you understand, it's like you've seen it before, you know this phase will end and a new phase will open up. And then so spirit, it feels like you could be doing it with someone. So you have this King of Air here. The Time Master flew off. So I don't know if that means this is not the Time Master, or you don't have time, or, you know, you've been very, very patient. It's kind of like maybe you've been very, very patient for something, and now this one is showing up, right? It's like either that, or something like you can't undo time. You can't turn back the clock. You can only go forward. So maybe it's something about kind of like not hanging on to what once was. Maybe it's something to do with your beauty and like aging, the Empress aging. You know, changing your beauty routine, something like that. Could be. And then movement towards adventure. I want to say you seem to be teaming up with someone, and this King of Air could easily be you, but if the King of Air is you, I want to say the Empress is someone else. It feels like two different people to me. This feels like somebody who's on your wavelength, because Libra, you tend to be the Queen of Swords, and again, to take gender out of it, I'm seeing you as the feminine, but flip it and reverse it, whatever. This could be someone who's Aquarius. It could be somebody who's very, very logical. It could, again, I'm getting a lot of Aquarius, Virgo. It's like somebody who, it's like their mind is logical. They approach things from a, like they also have this eyes of the eagle, rising above the fray, right? It's like they don't do what everybody else does. Aquarius doesn't do what everybody else does, right? Aquarius is not basic, right? They like to be individual. They like to be creative. They're interested in new creative things, especially technology. So there could be something where you're coming to a situation with a very unique point of view, ready to create something beautiful. And I want to say this King of Air is somebody who's going to appreciate that you think like them, right? They appreciate that you're coming into a situation with a lot of intelligence and logic, right? This isn't kind of like a gut feeling. This isn't kind of like doing something because everybody else is doing it. It's not a fad. You seem to have some kind of very novel approach to a situation. And I want to say this person really admires and respects that, because that's what they're looking for. So with movement towards adventure, this feels more like them, right? They feel like they want to kind of join you on this adventure. It's like they want to come along with you because they also see the value in your new idea or this new opportunity. It's kind of like they're along for the ride. Virgo actually, I think, had something about being in flow. It could have been Virgo, it could have been Leo. It's something like the value of beauty. So it could even be something like, if this was somebody who's like, because King of Air, they tend to be technology, where you've got this kind of shifty King of Pentacles back here who's kind of like dishing out the money or being, you know, sticking money up his sleeve when he's meant to be sharing it. This one, I want to say, has your sense of integrity. Again, very logical. Can you see how, you know, this creation, it's got blueprints? But because you're the Empress, because you're ruled by Venus, it's like the beauty is important to you as well. So it's kind of like form and function. So the King of Air might be very interested in function, and the King of Earth, right? It's like they want things to be functional. But you seem to be saying, well, you need to have the full package, right? You could have the most functional thing in the world if this is like a product. But if it's not attractive, if it's not beautiful, it's not going to, people aren't going to look at it in the first place. So it's kind of like, it could be that you're the full package, right? It's like, it could be, you could be, just because you've got PR there, it's like an RP. It's like you could be the full package, right? You could be, it doesn't have to be typically beautiful. It doesn't have to be like, you have to be, I don't know, Salma Hayek or I'm talking about all these older women like Cindy Crawford or, you know, you don't have to be like stereotypically beautiful. It could just be that you present yourself very well. You know, it could just be something to do with the way you talk to people could be very charming, very engaging. You know, people could naturally be very drawn to you. Maybe you feel like a safe person for people to talk to, but it's kind of like there's something about whatever this course is that I want to say you've set for yourself, and maybe even calling something in for yourself. I want to say, because you're standing out from the crowd, because you're doing something very differently, it is attracting the attention of this one. And this one wants to come on this adventure with you. Now, so let's have a look at this. So there's something going on here with this rose garden and stranded and flower spirit. It has the feeling of like trying to get to something and then getting yourself stuck. It's kind of like a cat up a tree. It's like seeing something beautiful, you know, like a very beautiful flower or a butterfly or a cat up a tree, right? And kind of like climbing up to try and get closer to this thing. Or even kind of like if this was some sort of like, say this was like a parade or, you know, something was going on, there was a lot of people. It's kind of like you've gone up, you've climbed a tree to get kind of like an overview of the situation. It doesn't even have to be literal and physical either. It could just be something where it's kind of like, you know, something's going on social media. There's a lot of chaos and havoc. You know, there's a lot of buzz around this thing. But you've said, oh, I'm going to kind of fact check this, or I'm going to go and kind of like do my own research on this. You know, you've done something that's took you into a higher perspective that's quite unique, and like not everybody has that point of view. I want to say it's like a more detailed point of view. And then rose garden, but you've got yourself stuck in some sort of way. Let's have a look at, I read rose garden, I feel like it came up for Virgo. Sensitivity, awareness of nature, integrated whole and strength. Look at this beautiful woman who has transformed into a flower. She holds a red blooming rose to the place where her heart belongs. Her hair has become a leaf blown by the wind. She is part of nature and grows stronger with her every gentle touch and loving gesture. Isn't that fascinating? How it's like she's part of nature. Maybe there is something kind of like nature-y about you. Maybe you've got this kind of like elf energy. I don't know. She is not alone. Her friends, the caterpillar and butterfly, are here to visit, symbolizing transformation. Thorns threaten to prick her, but she is not scared. A rose is beautiful and strong because of its thorns, not in spite of them, right? The panther spirit. You're stronger because of your experiences, right? Your experiences have shaped you. They haven't damaged you, right? They are, yeah, transforming you into, you know, your final form, your ultimate self. Misdirection. Didn't I say it's like sleight of hand, something like that? Misdirection, misjudgment, fear of failure. Oh my God, my Capricorn Lilith placement screaming right now. It's like, don't look at me. My imposter syndrome. Look at this young sailor stranded with his ship on top of a small tree. He needs his anchor to help him get back down to earth. Feels like this is this one, right? Because the King of Air, Aquarius energy, tends to have a very, very high perspective. It's like, in a way where sometimes Aquarius can, and if you've got Aquarius placements as well, this could be parts of your own personality. Aquarius energy can sometimes come across as a little bit aloof, a little kind of like cold, like overly analytical, as can Libra, as can any air sign, as can Virgo, right? A little bit, a little bit like smartest person in the room, you know, a little bit kind of like you can't tell them anything because they know everything, you know, that kind of energy, you know, a little bit like, well, I always make good decisions because I think things through. I'm not like you lot. So, yeah, that kind of super ego coming through with Aquarius there. Just sometimes, you know, like sometimes you need to poke a little bit of fun to get them feet back on the ground, you know, in a friendly way, in a way that's kind of like, this is what's best for you. Look at this young sailor stranded with his ship on top of a tall tree. He needs his anchor to help him get back down to earth. The card asks, how did the ship get there? This is such an unusual place for a seafaring vessel. At times we feel the same. We find ourselves in situations we can't understand. That's what I was saying about, like, that's the feeling I was getting from childhood. I don't know if you're going to get into a situation and it's going to feel like it's reflecting something that happened to you when you were younger, you know, where you felt like you didn't know what was going on. Like, you know, everybody else was clued in, but you weren't. It says sometimes we feel like we've made mistakes because our expectations are so high. We set ourselves up for failure. Again, Virgo, Aquarius, Libra, all tend to be idealists. They all tend to aim for perfection and get a little bit disappointed when, you know, you've put someone or something up on a pedestal and, you know, you were expecting 100% and you get 80%. You know, it is, but that's part of ourselves, right? That's us having to look at ourselves and say, it's not fair for me to expect things to be perfect when I'm not perfect myself, you know? We either beat ourselves up over our performance or we are so intimidated that we never even begin. That's very Virgo, analysis paralysis. Failure is a necessary part of success, as important to the journey as a rudder on a ship. So if you actually look at people who are very, very famous, especially people who are quite entrepreneurial, they've normally got a load of failed businesses under the belt, a load of kind of things where they lost a load of money. You know, they like people who are successful have failed. And the point is that they've learned from it, right? It's kind of like if you never try, you never learn. So, if you try something and it doesn't work out, it's not actually a failure, it's a success because you learn how not to do it, right? It's kind of like you gained experience, you gained XP points. So don't be scared of not being perfect. Don't be scared of, you know, not being able to get like kind of like that 9 or that A+. You know, whatever you can do is enough. And you know, you can look at the lessons and the experience that you've gained from that. I feel like that's a message for that person. Maybe this is what you're saying to that person. Okay, now the reading gets really interesting because we've got Earth and the Time Master. Guys, I twice now I've had this message come through. Once it came through in a reading and then I had it through a couple of days ago. The idea of kind of like the end is nigh, the end of the world is coming, but it's okay because we just run the simulation again. It's kind of like we're in a simulation, we're approaching the end of the simulation, but we're going to hit the reset button. And, you know, hopefully we're going to learn and we're going to do things better this time. I don't know if that's a legit thing. I channel a lot of movies and TV shows. It might just be some TV or yeah, like the plot of some TV show or movie or a book or something that somebody's watching. But I am not kidding you when I asked why the Time Master is not actually included in the reading, like why he fell off the table. randomized a song, and the song was 4 minutes by Madonna and Justin Timberlake. I've got 4 minutes to save the world. It's like I don't know, and that whole album was like, time goes by so slowly for those who wait, and you've been so patient. It's kind of like you've been so patient, and kind of like now something's showing up, right? Now something's happening. And then the really weird thing was, you had the song 4 minutes, and it was kind of making me think of, like, you know, when, what's that clock that they have where it's kind of like telling you about the state of the planet, and it's like, you know, we're a second away from midnight, which is kind of like meant to be kind of like the point of no return, like the end of the world, and it's been so close for so long now. So yeah, it's kind of making me think of that. And he says, I'm going to give you what you want. And you've got that song, one way or another, I'm going to find you. I'm going to get you. It's like, you know, I want it all. I want it now. It's like, you're going to get what you want, right? It's kind of like, now's the time to get what you want. I don't know. But like I say, you've got the song 4 minutes, and then it freaked me out because I've got two phones. I've got the phone that I record on and my phone that I kind of randomize the songs on. This phone said it was 12 minutes past 11. And it normally does run maybe a minute ahead of my other phone, which is weird because they both set the clock via the internet. So why would they have different times? But this one's, I thought, maybe my other phone says 11:11, which tends to be a more accurate time. This one's the one that tends to be off. And I thought that's funny because I've been singing, like, I saw 18:18 and like 16:16 and stuff yesterday for Virgo. It's like every time I look at the clock, like the numbers are in alignment, right? It's like 8:08 or 12:12. And so this morning, like when I started getting songs for you, it was 10:10. And then I thought, because it was 11:12, I thought, how funny. I wonder if it's actually 11:11. And I looked at my other phone and it was 11:07. The difference between 11:07 and 11:12 is just over 4 minutes. It's like 4 minutes, so many seconds, right? And I was like, that's crazy. That is such a weird. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Is it a pattern because we're in the Matrix? I don't know. I feel like the King of Air knows better than me. A little bit more Matrixy than me. The next thing that came through. Now, I wasn't surprised that Hollow Bone came through with teachability, because I was really thinking a lot about how my dad, you know, what my dad did teach me and what my dad didn't teach me. You know, how teachable I was to him. You know, had he felt like I was more teachable, would he have taught me more lessons? You know, that sort of thing. He did teach me some really valuable stuff, though, you know, that I'm glad he taught me. But like I say, maybe there is something about your teachability. You do seem to come to the table with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, or a lot of kind of intuitive insight. It appears that somebody is showing up to teach you about something. So the next card here, above teachability, is the underworld and Hades. I don't know what you're being taught, but the card underneath that is cycles and Jormungandr. Now this is I can't say the word, Jormungandr. This big snake comes from kind of like, I think it's like Viking mythology. And it's the idea of this big giant snake that circles the earth, circles the world, and it has its own tail in its mouth. And the legend says when this snake, this serpent, releases its tail, it's the end of the world, right? That's when the apocalypse happens. So I don't know, maybe you're going to university, because this is about intellect, information. Maybe you're studying mythology around death, endings, the afterlife. Maybe it's Doctor Who, I don't know. But yeah, the Hades and Underworld and cycles Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, and teachability. And the Time Master. It's like you're Amy Pond. You're there with Doctor Who, and you've gone to watch. Is it Billie Piper or Amy Pond? Sorry, Rose Tyler or Amy Pond, who he takes to show her the end of the world. And it's got like that woman. She's kind of like, spritz me, spritz me. And then you've got movement as speed, and then incredibly with Hades, like these two cards literally came out like this from this massive deck that I've got. But I can show you, like, I try and mix up the cards as much as I can. They were thoroughly mixed, right? And then look, oh my god, 9-9 from 2 different, what is going on? There's like this reordering or reshuffling. How bizarre. I was going to say all the numbers are mixed up, right? All the cards are mixed up, all the numbers are mixed up. And yet, and every time I put cards back into the deck, like say I'm putting these cards away, I would go like that. I would split the deck and put the card in, and split the deck and put the card in. So it's kind of incredible to me that these two should come out together, because it's Hades and Chiron, who is Hades obviously is the I studied Greek mythology. My degree is humanities with specialisms in classical studies and literature, because I like the stories that people tell. I like mythology, right? I like, you know, why do we tell these myths? What does it say about the culture that told them? So Hades and the underworld. Hades was the god of the underworld. You know, Pluto, Dispater, all these comparable gods who ruled basically what's under the earth, right? Zeus got the heavens, and you've got Jupiter here, right? Remember, in your underlying. So Hades' brother Jupiter got the heavens. He got the mountain, right? He got Mount Olympus as the god of gods. Hades kind of drew the short straw, and became responsible for the underworld, which is where all the dead go, right? And it was a really important job, actually, and he took it really seriously. You know, a lot of the myths talk about how kind of serious he is, and he, because, you know, he had to keep the dead away from the living, right? He had to prevent the apocalypse, right? He had a really important job to do, to keep people where they were meant to be until it was time for them to kind of, like, I don't know if you believe in like the myth of you know, to kind of go back and live another life. So all these souls he kind of kept down there. And he also had jobs, especially things like Dispater. He had jobs like putting minerals and metals and gemstones and things in the earth, so that people could mine them, and also nutrients in the soil so that the things above ground could have life. It's kind of like he understood how the importance of his realm of the dead sustained life above. And then Charon was the boatman who ferried souls across the river Styx, you know, for a fee, reciprocity. You know, there was you know, this was a quid pro quo type situation. But it's so funny to me, because it's like, you know, such a notable character in the realm of the underworld, in the realm, well, 2 really notable important characters from the Greek mythology and the underworld. And then movement and speed with that as well. It feels like, if you've been very patient, it feels like suddenly there's a lot of movement. Maybe taking a boat ride, maybe traveling by boat to a different country. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe, you know, you're being taught something. But something about the key as well, right? Because it's almost like this one has like a skull as well. Like, the placement of these cards is wild to me. It's like, because can you see how these are all masks as well? They're wearing masks. This is a mask. Like, his face is covered. And then there's all these keys, which one of the other readings has something about keys, and it's kind of like, which key is going to open that person's mind? Yeah, kind of fascinating. You've got the Andean cross, which can talk about some kind of sign or symbol, holy mountain under that as well. Some kind of I don't know, it's kind of looking a bit like a keyhole again. You know, it's kind of like eyes to the keyhole. You know, looking into someone else's mind or something. I don't know. And then the messenger of fire here as well is like the kid. I am but a girl. I'm just a girl. What do you want from me? And then here's the other god. Right, we've got all 3 brothers. We've got Hades. We've got Poseidon, and we've got Zeus, Jupiter. It's kind of like, come, like, I'm going to offer you something. No, it was like a Little Mermaid reading that someone had. It's a funny old reading you've got here, Libra. I don't know what to make of it. Let's just give the D&D deck one more time to come out. Is there anything from this deck that wants to come out for Libra at this point in the reading? Or are you just giving us nothing? Giving us nothing. 7 of Charisma on the underline again. That's both times. I am going to get you a song. That's what I'm going to do. Maybe someone's like... just trying to interpret. Maybe somebody's like doing medical training, because the King of Air can be like a doctor or a surgeon. You know, somebody who's got a lot of knowledge, right? They have a lot of intelligence. They're kind of doing something that not everybody else can do. So it could be something about... It's funny because we've got this... But again, cycles, you know, the cycles of like life and death, you know, birth and growth and something like the teachability of that. I don't know. You've got 1, 2, 3, 0. So it's kind of like steady progress and then a pause, steady progress and a stop. It's 12:30 on the time at the moment. Let me just read the lyrics to 4 minutes a second, because that's what's currently playing. 4 minutes. Madonna. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. Come on, boy, I've been waiting for somebody to pick up my stroll. Don't waste time, give me a sign, tell me how you want to roll. I want somebody to speed it up for me, you've got speed, and then take it down slow. There's enough room for both. While I can handle that, you just got to show me where it's at. Are you ready to go? If you want it, you already got it. If you thought it, it better be what you want. Careful what you're manifesting, what you think about, you bring about. If you feel it, it must be real. Just say the word and I'm going to give you what you want. Time is waiting. We've only got 4 minutes to save the world. No hesitating. Grab a boy, grab a girl. Calm down, puppies. Everything's fine. Again, I'm not saying it's the end of the world, guys, but I feel fine. I am saying that what would you do if it was? How would you live your life if all you had was 4 minutes left? Like, maybe don't put things off till tomorrow. There could be something like that about it. Let's get you a song. Right, explain what's going on, because I'm making a mess of this reading. What's happening? So it was... Oh, God, that's quite a song. It's Lana Del Rey, and it's Summertime, the Gershwin version. So it's a cover, and it's Summertime, the living's easy, fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy, he's rich, and your ma, she's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're going to rise up singing. You're going to spread your wings and take to the sky. And until that morning, nothing can harm you, with daddy and mummy standing by. So again, the idea of parenting, parents parenting, and also that is the song, and what's kind of struck me with that is the song that my auntie chose. Not the Lana Del Rey version, but like the original, the older version. It's the song that my auntie chose to play at my nana's wedding. Not wedding, funeral. So it's like a funeral song for me. Which is interesting. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know. What's that? What's that Hamlet quote? If it will come, let it come. If it will not, let me Google it. Let me find out. I'm misquoting it. If it be now, let it be now. If it be not now, right? Okay. If it be not now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it not be now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. All right, Libras. I don't want to scare anyone. I don't want to scare anyone. I hope this reading is helpful to you. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends. I will see you soon. I will see you soon in the next reading, and we'll figure out what's going on. Again, a lot of the time I do channels, TV shows, books, you know, things that people are worried about. It could just be something on the news where everybody's getting a little bit worried about something, which is every other week in the news. It goes mass panic because it's the end of the world. The next week it's like, oh, that celebrity did that thing, let's all gossip about them and judge them. Oh, we're back to panicking because it's the end of the world. Oh, look, that other celebrity did this other thing. Like, again, cycles. Like, I've lived long enough, like, through so many news scare stories that I don't take them seriously anymore, and that could be a problem in itself. I don't know. Take care. Please take care of yourselves. You're gonna be fine. You feel looked after, right? You feel ready for the next adventure, Libra. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna go. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye.